Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Because It's Necessary Health and Wellness Forum, Singles Forum, Night 2. We are excited to be here on tonight. We have an amazing time last night and with Courtney and Shauna, who did an awesome job. So, as far as talking about being single and content, so we're really looking forward tonight as well, and just very excited. Even with everything that's going on around us, we're just excited about what's taking place. So, if you are on and you're live with us, please let us know where you're coming in from, where you are located, where you're checking in from, and we'd love to know that. So, last night, just want to get that out of the way. But last night we did talk about being single and being content. There were some great nuggets that came out of everything. We had a great dialogue, and if you would like to go back and watch that dialogue, you can most definitely go to YouTube. It is still up, and also the live is still up on the page as well. Well, oh, North Mississippi. Okay. Welcome. All right. That's awesome. Um, just to let us know, just we really had a great time last night. And tonight we'll be talking about being single. We have single and widowed, singled and divorcee. So we're going to dive in tonight on those issues. Also, on those great topics. Also, if anything stands out, if there's something that stands out to you or a nugget that stands out to you, please post the status and hashtag Ben22, 2022, Ben2022. So, Tyra, let's welcome our co-host along with us on tonight. My co-host is yours truly, Tyra, who was with us on last night, and she'll be with us the rest of this week. So I want to just turn it over to Tyra so we can go ahead and get this thing started. I hope you all are ready, just like I am.
So I hope y'all having a wonderful evening on this evening. And the quote for tonight is being single is definitely better than being with the wrong person.
Mhm.
And that is so true. I
Yeah,
know how some people say I can do bad all by myself. That's
yeah,
exactly what can be going down. That I
yeah,
can do it all I can be bad by myself, man. But
yeah.
being with the wrong person, that is really not healthy for us because when we're with the wrong person, it will affect us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financial. Because we don't know what type of person that may be, whether they are abusive or toxic or dysfunctional. We
Mm,
just know that those type of people will have an effect on you as a human being and
right.
all of your health. And it is best to, while you're spending time being by yourself, just figure out who you are and know who it is that you would like to be with, who it is that you think that you do complement to be with, because
Mm,
marriage and relationship is partnership, and it just don't work when one person is doing all the work and the other person is not. It's a
mm,
partnership. Both people should be given the 100%, not just one person giving all the 100% and the other person is not. And then you want that other person to also be in a good space too.
yeah.
It's not fair to you to be with someone who is not healthy, who is not well mentally and emotionally. Because it's good to have somebody that can provide, but what about the other health that you need, or the other needs that you may need met financially? And well, they'll be a good provider, but what about the mental part and the emotional part, the spiritual part? We need all of this to be whole and healthy. And if that other person cannot meet those needs, then you're going to be with the wrong person. And
Yeah.
then too, I know how some people say, well, compatibility is also important. And it is because you do want to have some commonalities, but baby, they say opposite attracts too. But it really depends on who it is that God may say that you need. And if you, it's really our choice who we pick. Who we pick. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Our choice who we pick in our lives. I know how people say they believe that God put them together, but to be honest, it's still at the end of the day, it's going to be what you decide. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be the one that's going to decide to say I do or or I'm all in. So whatever the case may be. So you still want to make good decisions and also have a good judgment of character because
Right.
really you can think about all the compatibility and he making all this money. He got good credit score. But what about his character? What about her character? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
Is he faithful? Is she faithful? Do they believe in praying? You know, if those are the things that you need, that's what you need to be looking for. You know, and don't settle. Hey, some people may say you have high standards, but it's good to have some standards.
Yeah.
Because when you do have some standards, that means you're gonna stand for something and not just settle for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it is okay to be single, and that's what we want to be here on tonight is to encourage people that being single is not uh, the end of a destination. It's not a sentence, you know, where people say, "Well, I have been sentenced to be by myself for the rest of my life." That's a lie. Don't be speaking those lies in your life because you can be single and still connected to a lot of people. That really don't necessarily mean that you're by yourself.
Right.
Mm,
Most definitely, Tyra. I mean, and I most certainly agree with that. You know, everything, there's a choice. You know, we make a choice. There's a choice behind the decisions that we make, and even when it comes to relationships, relationship building, who we decide to connect to, who we don't want to connect to, it's still a choice. Like that,
yeah,
it's still a choice in the matter. So even when it comes to relationships, like I said earlier, that we do have a choice, but honestly, in this day and time, I would rather be single than be with the wrong person. In this day and time, I would rather just be, in my place of singleness, and then be miserable for the rest of my life.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That keyword miserable. Miserable. Like I would rather be, because honestly, I want to be happy with whom, I make the choice to be with that person that I do make the choice to be with. But in the meantime, I'm also making the choice to not be miserable. And sometimes that's what we do as a woman, because we're not settling, that we make that choice we make a choice to be in a relationship, and we're also miserable. And in this day and time, like, we just don't need to be in a miserable state, because honestly, if you're miserable, it'll lead to depression. You know what I'm saying? It'll lead to that horrible anxiety. It'll lead to all that stuff, because we're in a miserable relationship that we really don't need to be in. So, I just thought I'd add that to that, just put that little key point. So, I mean, it's
hmm,
most definitely real, though. I mean, it's the real deal. So,
yeah.
yeah. All right. So, am I ready to introduce our first panelist?
You can go ahead and introduce the guest.
All right. So, our first topic for tonight is we'll be dealing with single widow, and we'll be, having that discussion there. So I want to introduce our panelists who will be coming on tonight. Her name is Burnett Claiborne, is an evangelist and teacher of the gospel. She is the host of Kingdom and Business, which is K&B Corner. If you guys do not follow her, I just want to put that plug in there. Please put that plug in there, because she really dissects the word and brings great points out, according to the word of God. And Burnett began her journey in health and fitness at the age of 18. So she does practice the lifestyle of eating healthy. So she's eating healthy, living healthy, that part of life. So with that, without nothing more to say, I would like to welcome Miss Burnett Claiborne to the stage.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Tara, Candace?
Doing good.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing great.
Good. So let's start this off with our first question on this evening.
Yeah.
Do you think relationships are doomed after being widowed?
For me, no, but for some, it might be. Um, I think it's to each individual who has been married. Some people made being married their sunset in their sunrise and their sunset. They made everything about marriage. They took care of the home. They took care of the kids. Their spouse was their their everything. So when you make that your life, then I guess it could be for that person. But as for me, because I learned early in life to do many different things. Even in marriage, you can be married and still have a life.
Mm,
It doesn't mean I don't. I It doesn't mean I like being in this situation. I did not choose to be in this situation, but I have to learn how to manage my life, because of this situation.
yeah.
Um, but I think being a widow does not mean your life is over. And with some people's, your life is just beginning. Um, for me, it's
Mm,
just for me after all those years of being married, trying to learn how to adjust to get myself to the point that I would want to date again.
yeah.
So I don't think it's a I'm gonna jump in the casket behind my husband situation. Some
Mm,
people I have been told of right after the spouse died, they just pass on away, and some they just go down from there. But like I say, for me, it's just learning how to manage life after this horrific situation that happened. So,
wow.
Yeah.
and it takes a day by day. It takes sometimes moments by moments. One moment you're fine uh, with being where you are. The
Mm,
next minute you wondering, why am I in this situation? Why did this have to happen to me? Why couldn't I grow old with this person? I don't want to go out and have to meet someone else and deal with learn this person all over again.
wow.
I mean, really, some days in my mind, I just say, do I want to do this again? Do I really want to do this again?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And some days I'll be like, well, you know what? Life goes on. He would not want you being here because women's and men's are different.
Yeah.
Just being funny. I was telling my son, I said the other day, I looked at him. I said, well, one day, I said, I'm going to allow God, because we have to allow God to do stuff. People think God can just do stuff, force stuff. I'm going to allow God to help me get back into that place where I can expect my Boaz to come. I said he gonna be a good. And first of all, I said he gonna be a good dad. He gonna be a good daddy for you, a good husband for me, and the most important thing, he's gonna be a man who pleases God.
Yeah.
And my son looked at me. He said, "I don't want you to get married again. What are you talking about?"
Mm,
I said, "Well, one day it will happen." I said, "But it's don't worry about it. I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon." And then those old moments, um, I look at people in their relationships as like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I don't want to try that again. I deal with people who are married. I have many people in my family who are married, and I have to say, on other days, do you really want to go through this again? You have all your freedom. You don't have to answer to anyone, but God, you can pretty much do as you please. You got your own room. You don't have to clean up behind anyone but you and one child because the other one is grown. You don't have to. But then there's days I miss doing that stuff. But
Mhm.
but like I said, for me to answer the question is is do I think relationships are doomed after becoming a widow? No, because I still work. I still have healthy relationships with people. I think that's the key. And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm not talking about dating or anything. I'm talking about friends, family. I still have other things I do. So my
Yeah.
life is still being balanced out as I
Mm.
learn how to manage it at this time in my life.
You
Now,
know, we were talking about that last night. You know, that dating is totally different in these days and time.
Mm.
So, you know, when people are widowed, that is a question that do pop up. Do I want to do this over again? Because
yeah,
so much that relationships are doomed after being widowed. That do be the number one question. Would I want to do this again? How would I be able to move forward? You know, doing this again after I have loved somebody for however many years it was. You know, that's for anybody. And then you think about, would I be able to even love somebody or have somebody that loved me the way that my your spouse did? You know, those are very good questions
Right.
to even ask, because you that does be there when you have to think about all these dating things and dating apps and uh, the
Mm.
whole process of going through the because right now I think I would be going through the motions, because I feel like people who get divorced or widowed or even break up from a relationship, because it's still a loss regardless.
Yeah.
The divorce, widow, or relationship broken off is still a loss. Anytime that happens, it's the end of something, and then it be another beginning. But how the way you want it to begin is up to that individual. But with me, I just feel like people in those situations do need to be by themselves so that they can, you know,
find themselves.
find out who they are in this new world, because you had this whole world that revolved around your spouse, and now you're in another world without your spouse. So
Mm.
it's like you have to process and go through all these motions, and especially emotions and thoughts and stuff. And I think that it's okay to say, okay, let me spend some time by myself. I
Yeah.
don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. And that is okay. I don't think
Mm.
relationships are doomed, but I do believe that the relationship that you start with people after after being widowed, divorced, or breaking off from somebody should be very intentional, because at that point you do want people to add on to you, not take away. Because
Yeah.
something has already been taken away from you, so you do want something to be added to you. And anybody that comes in your path, or anybody that comes in my path after I have a loss, that's all I'm going to be looking for, is somebody to add on to me and not be taken away from me, because I won't have nothing to give you no way. Because
Mm.
grieving takes time, you know, and you're just not in a state of mind to be given nothing. I'm just sorry. I'm just gonna be honest. But take your time, you know.
I
But those
think
are good points.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have to get to a place because grieving, when you lose someone, that's not just in marriage. It depends on the relationship. Because some people, like I say, they were just married. So when
Mm.
they spouse passed, they life just begun again, and they want to do different things. But it's no different from having, like Candace lost her mom, but she can
Mm-hmm.
never have a mom replaced, um, because her dad made that choice for her. Her daddy
Mm-hmm.
said he wanted a wife,
Yeah.
but it's still, even if he had to make the choice to get another wife, you are going to still have those moments. This could be the best person in the world, and that person still going to be there. Those memories going to come up one day, but you got to learn how to deal with them. And that's the best reason why you should take time off, because
Mhm.
no one should have to come into a marriage dealing with three people instead of just you and that person.
Mm-hmm.
But I just say you have to get to a point that you're okay. You have to make up in your mind that I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. This is not the end of the world. I'm
Mhm.
still living. I'm not the one who has left the earth. But even in that, the key thing is now I have to go back and learn what I really do like. What some things you lost in your marriage, because you have to learn how to come together as one. So you have to compromise a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So now you're really learning yourself over again. Okay, do I like sleeping late, or did I just get up because my husband was in the military and he was just an early bird, and I learned to get up when he got up. It's so many things you're learning over about yourself, even the little things that you never paid attention to.
Mm.
Yep.
I say enjoy life, do what the word tell us to do. But I think the main thing for some people is learn how to live, live, even with your spouse being here. Take some time to yourself. People don't like doing this because they think, oh no, that's superstitious. This is bad luck. I'm not going to do this. But I think if everyone would take some time whilst their spouse is still living to think about their life, think about life, if something was to happen to their spouse and they wasn't here anymore, take some time to think right then, what would I do? How would I, you know, we make the decisions every day. I do life insurance. I have to prepare people for that when people leave here. This is something that you have to think about when this person is gone. No matter what, we have to deal with it. So I think even in marriage, we should take the time to think about our lives if this person wasn't here, as if they wasn't here, and then it could help us when something do happen, how to handle things more.
Mm.
And see, Pam had put on here, moving on will require leaving the soul ties behind, whether it is because of divorce or death, and especially because of broken relationships.
Mm.
Candace, you have anything you want to add before I go to the next question?
Oh no, this is good. I'm just listening for now.
And Burnett, you did talk about how you are adjusting to being a widow. You did touch bases on some of that, where you were talking about sometimes you have good moments, and then you have not so good moments, and you have to, you know, process it.
Hmm.
And,
All in, and sometimes
Mhm.
it be all in 1 hour. It be all in 30 minutes. It just depends on what's going on at that moment. I'm processing where I'm crying one moment, laughing the next moment. I mean, it doesn't take we always say it's day by day. Sometimes, like I say, it's moment by moment. It could be like within an hour. I
Yeah.
see I see my grandson run, and I'd be like, "Oh, you can be here to see him," and I see our child doing something. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and then in a moment, I'm like, in my processing, he's gone, but we still have to celebrate. I'll say, Zach, come on, I'm gonna go take you out to eat to celebrate your accomplishment. I can't let the fact that your dad is not here, but it all happens sometimes, like I say, within an hour. I'm processing, managing, pushing on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean I do kind of want to piggyback off that that when it comes to I guess well when it comes to death in that we're grieving. I've learned to, this is what I've had to share with people in a sense of grief is I've learned to cope with the loss of my mother instead of just moving on. You know what I'm saying? Because she was my mom. Like she's all I had. So, instead of just moving on and, just saying, okay, yeah, she's died and gone. No, it's not like that with me. But, I've learned to cope. I've learned to cope, cope with it, because and I agree. Like I still have my moments. I still have, my times, but, I'm not just saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna let that part go completely. No, I can't. There's something that I just can't do. But and I, like Sister Pam just said, grief has no time limit. There are no time. There's no time limit on it anyway. So even with adjusting, adjusting. What I say is I'm adjusting to I'm readjusting to adjust. I'm adjusting to readjust. It's just gonna take some
Yeah.
time. Period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I think we did a topic on Can Be Corner a while ago. It was I'm just checking in. I'm just stop. I think it's I'm just checking in I'm just stopping by to check in and see. It was something one of Kenny Rogers' old song. Just checking in to check in to see if you everything is all right. It was one of his old song, but it was a good topic because we have to check in, and that
Hmm.
was sometimes we have to check in with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we being people gonna tell you when when things happen, when a person is passed on, or even if they're sick, there's still hope when they're sick. But when they're have passed on, they tell you, "Oh, everything is going to be all right." And I just say to myself, "It's not going to be all right." As
Yeah.
you think it's going to be all right, it's going to be. I know it's going to be all right, over time. But to tell a person who loses someone uh, that everything is going to be all right,
No.
not at that moment. Everything has just crashed. In 2 months, it will be a year. It's like it just happened. It's
Yeah.
like it just happened. So, in all these months, you would think it would be, I would be in a place where now um, some of these things I have dealt with and I'm over. Some of these things I deal with constantly, they come right back up. I
Hmm.
have to deal with them at that moment when they come back up. I get mad. I cry. I get mad at him. I mean, the only somebody I never get mad at is God, because God wasn't in this. God had nothing to do with this outcome. It was just something that was going to happen. When if you don't take care of yourself, things are going to happen.
Mm.
But I still give. The only thing I know when I'm at my worst in this, I rejoice in the Lord because I know where He's gone on to. He accepted the Lord. He's with the Lord. So that part of me, I'm okay. I'm really okay. The other things, when people say, "Oh, it's going to be all right," I in time it will, but at some moments it's not okay, and I'm going to be okay with not being okay at that moment. No one
Mm.
is going to make me feel like I have to be, especially with my son, because I do have an 11-year-old son. I will remove myself from the room. I remove myself from his presence just to deal with my feelings at that moment
Mm.
and get myself back in check, because I'm not gonna play these. I don't play these games with myself. That you should be okay. You need to, you need to, They tell women this too. You need to man up. They tell women this too. You got to be stronger than this. And I'm like, well, right now, let me be weak so we can deal with this. So I don't want to have to deal with it down the road. But in an overall sense of the situation, I think I'm getting better by the day. Until a situation come up, until a moment come up. I I think I'm getting better by the day.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm,
And I want to piggyback off that too because, it takes time. Like, it just everything just takes time, period, especially when it comes to grief, and I say this a lot, like if you never walked a mile in my shoes and you don't understand the place, then find yourself a seat. Because like, in a sense, those that don't understand really haven't been there. But I mean, I thank God in a sense, and I can't say this when it comes to grieving. I thank God for as Shauna said last night, we have our own sounding boards. So we have our sounding boards, people that we can go to and just sound off to get that out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
And
good.
you hope that those people would not be saying the wrong things.
Exactly.
Because
Because you
really,
can.
to be honest, you don't have to say anything.
No, you don't.
Really, your presence is sometimes a person may need.
Yeah.
Just sit there with them and allow a person to be vulnerable. Or you can just simply ask them, what do you need right now?
Right.
I mean, saying that it's gonna be all right is not something to say to anybody when they are having a moment of vulnerability, because that's a moment for them to feel. And I would rather that you feel instead of sitting up there trying to listen to someone who's saying it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be all right. We already know that.
Yeah.
To be honest, we already know that. But right now, I just have a moment of vulnerability. I just want to release some stuff. And sometimes that release is really what we need too. And it is okay. But some people do get uncomfortable when people show vulnerability. If that is the case, then you need to remove yourself from the bedroom. You need
Yeah.
to remove yourself from this conversation.
Yeah.
Because, if you're uncomfortable, just say it. Just say,
Hmm.
this makes me uncomfortable. I'm gonna let you be by yourself. We can talk later. Just call me,
Yeah.
or
Text me.
I'm just saying because
Yeah.
coming over and or being on the phone and saying the wrong thing is gonna make it even worse.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it even worse.
I
But it's
know
okay though. It's okay to not be okay.
it
Just
is.
just be a presence, a body, a sounding board, just like Candace said.
I was one of those people who had, and I'm in the situation. So when you're dealing with someone who's anyone who knows me, I always been this strong type person. I really didn't think I knew how to be weak
Hmm.
because I always been this strong type person. It's like, oh well, and I was one of those persons who had to tell myself it's okay not to be okay.
Hmm.
Uh, I didn't know what my mom was going through when her husband died. So I was like, oh, mama, it's going to be okay until it happened to me. Those words, I think then we could really think about process things. When I was telling her it's going to be okay, I'm here for you.
Mm.
I still didn't know what she was going through until now. I'm going through something like those was the wrong words to tell someone who just lost their husband that everything's going to be okay when they just need someone to sit there with them and be quiet. That's what she needed me more, to just be there than to just tell her everything gonna be all right. You're gonna be good. You're gonna move on. Those are words that sounds good, and you would think those are the right words to tell a person until you have to hear those words yourself.
Yeah.
When someone first passed away, it's some adjustment. It doesn't seem real. So they might seem like they're okay. But over time, reality starts setting in.
Yeah.
That and then it's like they're not coming back. It's this is real. This is a this is happening. And those same people who was all those people who was there when everything was going on, they're not there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They're not there. Now you do have the people who are there. They stay there. They are called and they're checked. There's I think Sister Pam was the first person to tell me, and that's when I had to tell myself. She was the first person to tell me, Brennan, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to to grieve. And I was saying to myself, I don't have time to grieve. I have a child. I have things that I have to move on. I can't let this break me. And over at the same time, it was those emotions was there, but I was trying my best to not let them come out. But
Mm.
like I said, over time, because it was when it first happened, so reality really hasn't kicked in yet. But now I I'm in a I'm in a place where I'm learning how to deal. Like I said, I'm learning how to cope with things. We look at pictures.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We got some
Let's see.
connection going on.
Yes, let's see if we can get it back.
I have to wait till she pop back on.
Right. Give us a few minutes.
But in the meantime, I do understand what she's saying, that when people be, saying the wrong word at the wrong time,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody grieves differently.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
really do. Just because it may have worked that way with you or that individual, it don't necessarily mean that it will work with everybody else.
Right.
So I think a good question is to ask, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
If they need a hug, let them tell you. Then hug.
Mm.
If they say I need some money for groceries, go get the grocery. If I
Yeah.
don't know, just let them tell you what they need. Because
Yeah.
don't sit up and say, if you need anything, call me and let me know. Really?
Right. Sister Pam just said if you can put that
You
up. She,
already know what I need. My spouse ain't here.
right. Look, so Sister Pam just said when it first happens, no words help.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Can you put that on the screen? Yeah, when it first happens, no words help. And that is so
Mm-hmm.
true. Like honestly, there's nothing that you can say.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can change at the moment because I've just lost my loved one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
why I say it's better just to ask the question.
yeah.
What do you need so I can go get that for you?
Right.
So I can
And
get
if
that for
and if
you.
you have those people in your circle that know you, they gonna already know what to do.
They already gonna know. They
Hello.
already gonna know. And
Yeah.
then they already gonna be on it.
Yeah.
They
They
already
already
gonna
gonna
be
be on.
doing the thing that they already know that you need at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if they because we already gonna know if you need the space, or you need a hug, or you need um, some groceries or food to eat or whatever the case may be. Or we'll just simply call and say, you need anything?
Yeah.
Um, but just having those words, it's just not gonna help. Don't, and please don't bring no scriptures over there, because we don't want to hear those scriptures
Yeah.
either. We don't want to hear.
Not at the
Don't
moment.
come over there, because baby,
Yeah. I'd be like, mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
get mad if they snap at you. Don't get mad if they cuss you out now, because
Yeah.
you the one that came over there
Yeah. Right.
with them
Yeah.
words.
And bought that chicken box with that
Hmm. Yeah. And the thing about sitting with folks, now you gotta ask them, do they need you to sit with them? Don't be sitting up there sitting with them and you ain't asked them, can you sit with them? Because sometimes people don't want people around them. And then there's certain folks that they wouldn't mind you being sitting around them. So make sure you ask, is it okay for me to sit with you? Because mm-mm, when something happen like that, we just don't really be knowing what to do. And so I feel like it's best to ask the person what it is that they want, what it is that they need.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So I mean
You
this
be in touch
that
with Miss Burnett?
yeah, yeah, we gon' we
So
get
she
we
about to
getting her back
pop
in. Yeah, we had I'm thinking technical difficulties, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Things happen, guys, with this social media, with the media and technology. Just bear with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is good though.
It is good. I totally
Mm-hmm.
agree. And honestly, Tyra, just these are topics that we don't want to talk about. So these are issues that we really don't want to deal with, but need to deal with it. So we need to talk about it. It needs to be dealt with. We need to have the discussion so we can know how to heal from it and know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
most definitely.
But you know what, Candace, but while we sitting here waiting on Miss Burnett to log back in, we can go ahead on and introduce Miss Iris.
All right. So Iris, let me see. Iris is. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I had to have
Try to
my.
get that bio up.
I'm sorry, I gotta get my stuff together. Iris is.
Sometimes we gotta be flexible.
Yes. Iris is because I had put them papers up. I'm sorry, y'all. Iris is the founder of Impact Growth Academy. She is a worshiper and intercessor, and she has three beautiful children. And if I must put this in there, she is also a certified life coach. So without further ado, let's bring Iris to the stage.
Hello.
How you doing,
Hi.
Miss Iris?
Hello. Hello. Can
Hey,
y'all hear me
Iris. Yes.
well? Okay.
Yeah, we
You.
can hear you good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so with Miss Burnett, we were talking about being single and widowed. So with you being the guest for being single and divorced, um, we could I can pretty much just bring up the question that I had already asked her, which was the two questions. So your question would be, how are you adjusting to being divorced? Um, 'Cause that would be a good question.
Okay. Hi, adjusting to it. Right now at this in this season at this time, I am really enjoying myself. Okay, at the time going through it, it was hard. It was difficult, because being divorced, is you have to you separating yourself from what you used to do, and some things that you no longer you can't do anymore, and it's almost like you're dying to you a part of yourself is dying, and so I had to say, Iris, I got to do something here. Either I'm going to push through this and live, or I'm going to sit back and, my life is going to be messed up. So, it, it is difficult. It was difficult going through the divorce, but now that I'm in a season, whereas getting to know myself, getting to know Iris, my purpose in life. Once you grasp of who you are and whose you are, there is more. You know, we make mistakes, and I made plenty of mistakes. And knowing that when I got married, things just happened. It just happened for me, and I lost. You know, even though I lost it, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end. So right now, I am, I'm okay. I'm okay, and I accepted it. I went through it, and now I'm here, and I'm going on. I'm moving forward.
That's
Mm,
good. I
really
do
good.
have a question though. What were some of the things that people were saying to you when you first were going through your divorce that you didn't want to hear? Because when we were talking about how people have words that they be saying to people when they lose someone by death, what were some of the words that you were hearing that you wasn't ready to hear?
Okay. During my separation, even going through the divorce, before all that has formed and all that started, I wasn't happy in my marriage towards the end, and some more other things, going on or whatever. And sometimes when you're in that place, you really can't talk to no one because no one can really understand where you are, especially if if the environment or the circle of people you are around. And see, my background, I come from a Christian home. My father, he's a pastor, and so I was in church and blah blah blah. So even for myself, I felt like, divorce, what? No, I was against divorces. So but just knowing that here I am, in this marriage, and I knew, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for me. And I was like, okay, I cannot worry about what people say. But at that time, I was worrying about what others would say. I was worrying about, what the church people would say. I was worrying about how I carried myself. I was worried about what others would, think of me. And so some of the things that I'm a private person, so I really don't just, go out and just talk about what went on. And a lot of people were shocked, when I had my divorce, or when they found out we were separated. A lot of people were shocked about it. And so some things that, that it was shameful just to know that I'm going through this all by itself. Okay, I'm going through this, and no one wants a divorce, and I surely didn't want a divorce. I always wanted to be married all my life, so that was one of the things that I, dreamed of. But having going through a divorce, nobody really want to go through a divorce. So, but anyway, and so even going through it, and just the people that's around you, even people that you would think that had your back, or people that you wouldn't expect, would say certain things about you. I had rumors, and people you thought they knew you, but they really don't know you, and it was very hurtful, very hurtful. So I found myself in a dark place. I was in a dark place, and but as I was in this dark place, it made me um I had to, like, it was hard. It was hard, but I had to find myself. I had to find that support system. I had to find that connection that will help pull me up. Because when I say I was by myself and I felt like I was by myself, I was by myself. And that person was my father. I asked, he was there for me. um and just, just I had to, push it through, go through it. And so I would say the people that I'm, as my background, Christian, my parents, just the people just looking at me and just being ashamed that I went through this divorce, and I never, want to go through this. But and hearing the words what people will say, and say, well, just making rumors of things. So that was very hurtful. That was very shameful for me as well. And just I'm just shocked that, you'll be amazed who your friends are, when, in your worst time. And so I would say it would be that.
That is true. You
I
always
agree.
find out who your friends are when you're going through something.
You know
Yeah.
what?
You
That's
wonder where they at.
where they at. That's what I just about to say. You gonna learn them. You learn who they truly are.
You
When
are,
you
you will. You
when
will.
you start going through it's the tough times, y'all. It's the tough times when you find out the real ones, like the raw ones, that's just in your corner, in your life, not going nowhere. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's when you can count them on your finger.
And
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
yeah, mm-hmm.
That support system is so important.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
I like it. That's good.
Let me see if I can bring Miss Burnett.
Yay.
Hey.
Can you hear her?
I can hear you.
Yeah, Sister Pam just said, true friends are with you through it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Be
realize,
there
Sister
through it
Pam, I
all, baby.
I
Through the
totally
thick
agree.
and the
Like
thin.
yeah, the thick and thin, the good, the bad, the ugly,
That's
the
true.
nasty,
Bad and
the
ugly, the
dirty,
good.
the nasty, the dirty, the stank, the I could keep
Yeah.
going. But yeah, like that's when you know the real ones and the raw ones.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Okay.
So, the other question that we had asked Burnett is, do you think relationships are doomed after divorce? Because I know that's a question that was popular on the internet that people have been asking nationwide, globally, if relationships are doomed after a divorce or either when you're widowed, because um, some people just say that, oh, it must be the end, Will I meet somebody again? Those are good questions to ask. Will you meet
Mhm.
somebody else again? But that don't necessarily mean that relationships are doomed. Though. What about
No,
you? What do you think?
I no. In my opinion, relationships are not doomed. They are not. Even now that I'm divorced, I have found more about who Iris is and what Iris wants. Even the more, just because I went through what I went through, and it made me stronger. Not only did it make me stronger, it made me realize who Iris is even the more. So what I went through now, it's like I know, I what I want
Hmm.
and what I'm not going to accept.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Miss Burnett, you got anything you want to add, Miss Candace, before I go to
No,
the next question?
head on over. Let's go. Let's go to the next question.
Miss Burnett, do you think you will ever marry again?
Of course, of course. On my own timing. I mean, marriage is beautiful. I mean, people try to make even. I was listening to ours. It was the time me and my husband had separated,
Wow.
and I had made up in my mind to get a divorce. Well, we separated on good terms, though. It wasn't like it was a fallout. Matter of fact, to be honest, and I did. My husband loved me, and I loved my husband. But it's time when people just don't like each other. They need to learn that marriage is not just about love; it's about a commitment. It's trial and error. Um, and I guess that's why at the end of my marriage, it hurted when he passed because we had went through so many things together. But I wanted a divorce at one time. I was like, you know what? Somebody got to grow up. And but no matter how many times I brought up the conversation about divorce, he wasn't hearing it. So we made the choice of instead of being in a house, fussing and arguing with each other all the time, did not at a time that we was like two people, we was roommates at one time, sharing a house because we wasn't getting along. Because I felt like you should love me no matter what. When he was being honest, telling me he just my husband was an honest person. When he told you something, you could bet it was the truth.
Mm,
Because it was time when he would be like, I don't like you right now. Burnett, you're making me to the point that I can't stand you because I was always nagging him about what he should do, how he should do it, the way I want it done, to the point that we had started growing apart. And so I respect her for doing what she needs to do, but everybody isn't the same. So we chose to, and I prayed. I said, Lord, let me out of this. Let me out of this. And I was like, I think we need to get away from each other for a while. And but I knew God wasn't going to, God was not going to be going to separate me from my husband. God's the God who put people together as one. If I made the decision to leave, it would be on my own. So I was really bringing God into something that I knew He was not going to just come in and say, "Okay, separate." But what I did, I kept talking to the Lord, and I kept because I was miserable at that time, and I
mm,
wanted to be free. And lo and behold, my husband came in the house one day from work. He was like, you know what? I am tired of fussing when I come in the house. We're going to do what you say do. We're going to separate for a while. We're going to see how this works out. And I'm telling you, I knew I had to go into action that day. I called my mama. I was like, I'm going to move back with you. And she needed help anyway because of a surgery. I was like, I'm moving back with you. I'm coming to live with you for a while, me and my son. And I knew I had to do it because I knew if I didn't do it at that moment, he was going to change his mind. So I actually got everything together, moved with my mom, and later that later that evening, he was like, "Where you at?" I was like, "I'm gone." He's like, "I was like, remember you said we was gonna go ahead and try this separation thing for a moment?" He's like, "No, I want you to come home." I'm like, "No, you look, you shouldn't have said what you said." But
mm,
we became closer because we started out as friends, and we lost that friendship in the marriage at that moment at that time. We was close friends. People did not understand my husband and my marriage because they thought we was it was something different. How can you be separated and still have this relationship? He paid every bill. He still took care of me and his son. No matter what happened, he had that. He grew up that old school way. You have to take care of your family, even if you make some wrong decision. Your family is first. But I wanted a divorce, and what saved me from getting that divorce, and people judge me behind that. A lot of people judge me because I wouldn't go. I tried to go through with the divorce. It just never would happen. And I remember his boss coming to me and telling me, man, never he had changed jobs, and that man had never met me, well, knew me. And he walked up and he came to my truck to drop. He always brought me my husband's check. We were separated, and he would bring me my husband's check. And so he had a different boss man, and he looked at me and he said, Burnett, we had spoken over the phone. I had talked to him over the phone. He asked me would I meet him to pick up something for Willa. I said yes. And he said, Burnett, I said, God, I said, only you can stop me from getting this divorce. I said, it's going to be you because I'm going to get this divorce. And he walked up and he said, Burnett, he said, whatever you do, don't give up on Willa. I said, God, I don't know what you're talking about, sir, because I'm on my way to file divorce papers. But I didn't. I didn't because whatever happened when my husband and I got back together, shortly after he said that we was together until the end, and our marriage was actually we were still getting to know each other, and that's what people have to learn in marriage, that it's not happy ever after. It's gonna, so I applaud you by getting a divorce because if that's what you needed, that's what you had to do, and it do make you stronger. Separation make you stronger. You get to learn you in the process of everything going on, or you would lose you in the process of everything going on. So, so when I start telling people the whole story, they be like, and you are where you are because we got back together, and it was better than it was from the previous, because we had our friendship back. We was the type, we was friends. We could be honest with each other. I would tell him on a date, you know what, I can't stand you. I'm going in the other room. We was in the house, and we started respecting each other's feelings at that moment, to the point that we got to the point that we wanted to be around each other. There was no going in the other room. It was like, I'm mad right now. I'm just going to be quiet and respect the fact that I'm mad. But yeah, so Miss Iris, I mean, everybody have to do what they have to do, and everybody's not the same. And there's nothing wrong with. There's no shame in divorce. There's no shame in being a widow or being single or being married. It's just that person, what that person wanted at that moment, and what that person really needs at that moment.
And I think also, when we're, most of, at times, some people, when they get married, they're really the motives of when they're going into marriage. You got to look at the motives of when you going into a marriage. And sometimes we look at the wedding, we look at happily ever after. We don't talk about, what you're going to deal with in marriage, or what you have to take, what it takes to keep that marriage. And I have witnessed to a lot of people, since even now that I'm divorced, I can, and even, having that discernment of, because of what I went through, I can tell, if that marriage, if they're just living just as roommates, or they're just there for finance, or and they're not in love. They're not in love with each other. They just there as like roommates. And I feel like there is more in a marriage. Marriage, God created the marriage. It's a bond. It's a love. It's a connection. And I feel like, when two people come together, in marriage, you're able to go forth with your purpose. And not only your purpose, you're not going to be stuck. And so, I feel like, with myself, as I was coming up, there was a part of me I thought I was ready. Even my parents, they was divorced. And by them being divorced, I didn't know, or I didn't I said I'm always when I get married, I'm gonna be submissive, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But I wasn't taught that other side, or nor did I see well, I did see some marriage that that was good, but here I am in this marriage. And I wanted this marriage to work. And I'm pretty sure there are other marriages right now that you are in it, and they want it to work, but it's so much things is going on, chaos is going on. But I had to look at my mental state, my mental mind, not only that, physically also, and I found myself, okay, this is affecting even my body here. uh
Mm.
and it can cause high blood pressure, it can cause a lot of things. And so there I even felt like I was in prison of a lot of things. So I understand when it say you have to be equally yoked. You have to be equally yoked. So when you in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, I'm not even blaming my ex-husband for anything. I'm looking at Iris here, because Iris gotta grow here. Iris gotta live. Iris got a purpose for Iris. And so I had to look at that. Do I want to stay where I am right now, go through this, uh, feeling stuck, feeling
Yeah.
pressed down, not being who completely who God called me to be, live life on purpose? I was in that place where I wanted out. I wanted out. And so a lot of people didn't understand that, and I can understand, and I truly understand what some marriages are today. Some, just saying some, they're in it because they got married, maybe got married too young, or they're I don't know what the situation may be, but prayer does work, true enough. But if you're not equally yoked, or you're not um y'all not together, I just feel like that you need with the purpose, living life on purpose, be who you are, and just I think it will be much better even for that person and for yourself. And so I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong with if you want to stay in a marriage where, okay, you rather be in prison and live like this, or live, you're not being you try to be happy or whatever. That's fine. Well, I pray that's not how God wants you to live. God wants us to be happy. God wants us to enjoy. And true, we're gonna have some trials and tribulation. We're gonna have some rough time in marriage. It's true enough. We're gonna be together regardless. But if it's not, if it's a pressure, and it's not, you're not together, not on one accord on some things in life going forward, that's just my opinion. That's why I had to get out my situation.
And I do want to just say that that's the part. Like the key to life is everybody has a story. So everybody has a story. Everybody has experienced something different from someone else. But then also to look at it on the other side, then there's also people who are experiencing what the both of you have gone through, what the both of you are going have experienced in life. So that's the whole key part to it, is that everybody has a story, that can share and can be of help to the people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nobody sits around and pretend like marriage is this wonderful, wonderful. It's the two people in the marriage that makes it what it is. And nobody's gonna act like there's no up and down. When I came up, I thought marriage was always love together, you know, and I was seeing the marriages around me, but I was looking of what in my head of what I thought marriage was gonna be. But if you go in marriage because you love a just only because I'm being honest and I'm being real. When God made Adam and Eve, they did not. When God made Adam, Eve was nowhere on site. When God brought Eve to Adam, they did not know each other. They didn't run into each other's arms and say "I love you," but they knew what the commitment, because they was there with God, and a commitment can to each other can you can fall in love and out of love and back in love with each other. It's about your marriage is just like a job. It's just how you consider it. It's better than a job. It's two people becoming together as one. And if you can never become one, you're gonna stay separated.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on to the next question. So, did y'all say yes or no to this question?
Yeah, I'll get married again. I mean, I'm not against
Because
marriage.
this is a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
I will, or no,
Yes,
I think I won't.
yes, I'll get married again.
yes.
But I know how I won't go in blind of what in my younger days thinking marriage was. Now I can
It's
go into
okay to
marriage.
not have an answer too. It's okay to say, I don't have an answer right now. Because
I'll
you
get
Yeah.
just
married
don't
again.
know what you'll do later on. You don't know what you'll do 10 years from now. You
Tara,
know,
I will get married again.
okay.
Because I know not to go in looking for expecting crazy stuff that I will
It's
get married.
okay.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
won't be it
Uh,
won't be now.
I hear you. So the next question is, how do y'all feel about y'all status title, your relationship status title? For you, Iris, it would be divorcee, and for you, Miss Burnett, it'll be widow. Do you think it defines you?
No. Man, I was married 15 years. People didn't even know I was married. So how is widow going to they didn't even people it's a lot of people didn't even know I was married. Because for a long time
But people do bring that up because when you get into a relationship, people they be so quick to say, "Well, I'm divorced" or "I'm widowed." How come those words don't have to be bought because they really don't define you? If
And
you
they
want to
posted on their
live with your
status.
spouse or,
It's
huh?
on their status too, like widow. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It
I
really
don't
is.
like that either.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel like you are outcast, or people look at you different. Even being single, they like, okay, are you single or are you single and or divorced? Single divorce,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, can I just say single? But
No,
I don't
can I
like
just
the
say
title.
can I just say
Yeah.
mind your business? Cause honestly,
But you
on
know
my
what
status,
the word you should say is I'm available.
yeah. I mean, I don't have
Well,
it on
at
my
the same
profile.
time too, I don't want to even say that.
Yeah.
I'm not available. I'm single, but I'm not available. I'm not ready right now. But yes,
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
do want to marry one day. But when the time is right, I'm ready to flow. When the time is right. Lord, bring them on in.
Mm-hmm.
But
It really don't define you.
yes, right now, I'm still, learning Irish, enjoying Irish, and I have my 3 children, and they are my, well, okay, they keep me busy, keep me focused, and so and I am thankful for that, so I'm considering myself single.
me
Yeah.
too. I'm not gonna I don't let a title define me, not only in marriage but in other not only in just being single, married, or whatever. Um Titles, like I said, they start when you start living according to a title, you're losing yourself. You're losing
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah,
That's why that's not gonna make it about the church, but that's why the church have went to a place that it should have never went, because people live from titles instead of
Mm.
operating from who they supposed to be. Um, so no, I never liked titles.
Mm-hmm. So we're here at the last question for the night, y'all. What type
Oh.
of encouragement would you give someone being in your position? Encouragement words. What would you like for those that find themselves in your position to know?
I would say if you're single, enjoy being single. And you know, I encouraged my son for a long time. He wanted to be married, And I was like, you're too young to be married. Won't you enjoy yourself? You don't even know who you are. So I just tell any single person, enjoy, find out who you are before you mess somebody else's life up. Because,
Mm.
then you're gonna cause them some heartaches and pain because you don't know you. And if you don't know
Mm.
you, then how they gonna know how to deal with you? I mean, and if you're married, learn how to be married to that person you're married to without looking at other people's marriage, comparing it.
Yeah.
And being that
Mhm.
my husband is off the earth, I would tell any married people, spend as much time together. Don't make the job, don't make the job your main focus or everything else your main focus, because once they're gone, you're gonna think about all the time you could have spent together, those moments you lost. So I just say enjoy wherever place you're in. Live life to the fullest in that place in Christ. If you're in Christ, live it to the fullest in Christ. Because we
Mm.
can't do crazy stuff and say we are Christians and living worse than the world sometimes, just be who you are, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. What
Yeah.
about you, Miss Irish?
Mhm. Yes, I agree. I agree, and I encourage those that are divorced. Um, you can live again. Just keep going forward. Things may seem like it may be tight, or things may be going well with you, or just know that there you still have purpose. You have purpose, and there is more to life, and not just even what we think about. What God has for you, it is for you. What you want in life, it can happen. It can happen. Just be patient with it, and just enjoy it. You enjoy life. And another thing I want to say is that, even though things may happen, it may not happen the way we thought it should, or things may block a stumbling block may come by, but appreciate those things,
Mm.
appreciate those moments. Every bit is an experience, and you take that experience, you turn it around, and you use it for the good, to better yourself, to better what's next to come in life. You didn't go through what you went through for nothing. You didn't go through down that pathway for anything, for nothing. You went
Right.
down there for a purpose and to get to where you're going to. So I just want to encourage you, if you've been divorced, if you are single, and divorced, that to keep pushing, keep going forth, keep positive, thinking positive, keep a positive mindset, and you take whatever that failure may be, whatever that situation didn't turn out the way you thought it should be. You take it, and you turn it around, and you still be thankful for it. Yeah.
All right, lady. That was some good
Yeah.
encouraging words.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyra,
Mm.
I have a
I
question for
would
you
like to.
before you get out. I
Mm-hmm.
got a question for you before you get out. Why do people assume Christians, when they do date, why do they assume Christians look for other Christians inside the four walls?
Wow.
We go to church together. I just asked that question. Why is it? Because I was listening to y'all last night. I was gonna ask you from the beginning, and it slipped my mind. Um, and I just was thinking, why do people assume Christians always look for their mate or only date in the four walls, in the four walls? Oh, I'm going to, because it was funny. I'm going to church to find me a wife. I'm going to church to find me a husband. So why do people assume that Christians actually look for their mates within those four walls?
Miss Candace and Miss Irish, y'all answer that question.
Well, I was gonna say write it down and save it for tomorrow night, but
Okay, we can, because I was.
but I mean, we can do it again. I mean, I just feel like some people think that the church is a safe place, and they think that they'll just meet them, like that's the only place that they can meet him. And I think CG said something, according Courtney said something to that, according to last night when we
Yeah.
were talking, is that there are other places, that
Mhm.
there are places that you can go, and that space is open where you can meet somebody else. And honestly, you can meet somebody at a jazz concert, you can meet somebody in the mall, you can meet somebody,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
On the
saying,
bread aisle at Walmart.
you on the bread aisle. Yeah, we talked about that bread aisle last night. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if people will have an open mind about their relationships, or have an open mind about going outside the four walls
Hmm.
to meeting people, because you just never know. Like, you really just never know where you're gonna find them at. But I mean, that's a good question. Sorry, I think you should write that down for tomorrow
Yeah,
night too.
that's good. I think too, we limit ourselves. We
Yeah.
limit ourselves. So when we limit ourselves and we just know what's around us or what people say, and we don't go out, like you said, go out, but out of the walls, unlimit ourselves of some things. And that's also part of getting to know yourself even the more. If you get to know more about yourself, you're going to explore even more and go out. And when you go out, you meet other people, and that's how you
Hmm.
meet other people rather than just stand in a little area where, okay, if I go to this church, this is, because I know this, you think you know the person, and you just assuming this is how this person is, and it's because you're in that wall, you in that box. It's you limiting yourself. And
And
I think that's a problem.
it is a problem. And I just use this as an example, and y'all probably gonna laugh at me, but I will share this story. That when I was over the singles ministry at church, we were assigned to go to the nursing home. And the statement was made to me, I might meet my husband at the nursing home because I'm over the singles ministry. In the back of my mind, I'm like, really? Did
Oh,
you
one of them old dudes.
did you just put your mouth to say that I'm gonna meet my, you know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, I'm sitting up here like, no, I don't,
People
in the
really
back of
don't
me,
be know what they be saying, do they?
no, no, people don't have a clue. Like, if you just
So,
think before you speak. Like, I'm thinking in my head, would I really want to meet my husband at a nursing home? Would I want to,
exactly.
like, would I, like,
And
being
how do they know you was in a mind frame ready for a husband? How they know that or not? You may not
exactly,
even be in a position to be even thinking about a husband. You probably just
yeah.
enjoying life being single.
Well, no, honestly, I was in the position of not really wanting to be there because nursing homes really ain't my thing. I mean, I can take it now, but back then it was like, nope, 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 nope. But I'm like, chick, nope, I'm not going. Nope, I don't want to go. So of course, when I went there for a primary purpose. I went there to minister the word to the older people, and I got out of there.
Yeah.
I went, and that was it. That was the assignment.
Oh
I
my
really do
goodness.
believe that we gotta stop putting off people on single folk. We gotta stop putting people on single people. When just because a person is single, that don't mean that I'm supposed to be the matchmaker or pray that God send you somebody or
Yeah,
because that don't have anything to do with anything because
right.
everything is beautiful in God's timing. So why am I being concerned about somebody being single and thinking that they need somebody?
I just don't
They
understand why.
probably already got somebody, baby. You just don't know it.
Right, I just don't understand why the singles, like singles are automatically uh put in a nursing home. Oh, oh, that's good
Oh my
ministry.
goodness.
Oh yeah, and honestly, it is good ministry. But the thing is, it might not be right. It's not right for me.
I just want to know who you was gonna bring out the nursing home. I mean, they're in the nursing home.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
We
my
were just talking
goodness.
about a male staff
Woo!
member, a male staff member, because they definitely gonna. Who are you gonna bring out of there?
I wasn't trying to bring nobody out that nursing home. I was trying to do my part and get out of there and be like, okay, praise the Lord, I've done my part. See y'all later.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because even until this day, I can go to a nursing home, but there's, I mean, that nursing homes ain't for the weak. So you got
Okay.
to be, yeah, it's not for the weak. So at that moment, I was weak. I wasn't ready for to even hit that spot. You know what I'm saying? Now I can go and it's okay. But now I'm not going in. I'm not going, period. So
Mm.
The reason I asked that
Mm-mm.
question because I had to tell a young man he watched me for years being married, and because I'm a Christian, because I believe in living the life that you claim, that you say confess to. He told me
mhm.
one day, I was his manager, Miss Renee, I'm going to church and I'm gonna find me a woman just like you. I said, you're gonna find you a devil too. I said, because people like you show up in church looking for other Christians and they find each other. And I have had many people tell me they was going to church to find them a good wife or a good husband. I'm like, y'all gonna get some devils up in there. They come into the church too, looking for
Mm,
their victims, and y'all gonna run up on each other. But yeah,
yeah,
why I just asked that. Why do people think Christians actually date in the only date within the four walls?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna have to write that question down and talk about it on tomorrow night too, as well.
Yeah. But before we wrap it up, I do want to leave y'all with a quote. Um, that ultimately the only way to get through something is to get through it, not over, not under, or around it, but all the way through it, and it takes as long as it takes.
That's good.
Very good quote. Let it take as long as it takes, but sometimes people be so impatient with themselves and also with their experiences. It's okay. Be patient. Gracefully go through whatever you have to go through, but make sure you go through it all the way. And don't let anybody put a time limit on it because there isn't one.
Right.
Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all come on back tomorrow night, y'all, so we can finish this up and wrap it up tomorrow night with everybody on the panel will be on
Yes.
here tomorrow night. Um, we'll just be I did have some questions for tomorrow, but I can't remember what they were. But whatever they are, we are going to be popping it off.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
Talking about things that people really do want to ask, but they but they don't because it's probably too taboo or whatever. Um, about these certain types of questions that people may want to ask single people. But come on back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. or 7:15, whichever one we start on.
Exactly.
Because we're being flexible, because there was a lot of technical difficulties, but it still came
Mhm.
out great. It really did.
Right.
And
And I want to thank you all for having me on. And I apologize, it was technology difficult coming on, but I am thankful and I really enjoyed myself also with
Thank
you
you.
all.
that's good.
Thank you.
And sometimes we just go through the flow. Sometimes things just
I
don't work
see.
out
Yeah.
the way. It just don't work out the way we think it's gonna work out. But
Exactly.
it's no point in getting upset. There's no point in feeling bad about it. You just have to go through the flow, baby, and be flexible because that's
Yes.
how life is.
It
Um,
is.
we just have to be patient. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was very patient.
Uh,
Thank you.
but y'all have a wonderful night. Candy, do you want to say anything before we wrap it up tonight?
Yeah, look, I just want to say thank you all for joining. We appreciate you, Burnett and Iris, for coming on and being a part. We can't wait to see you all back tomorrow night. Like Tyra said, I just want to reiterate, see you back at 7, between 7 and 7:15. We just gonna say like that. Also, if you are not a part of the Because It's Necessary Health and Wellness group, please go and join. I will invite you in because it is a private group, but please go ahead and join because we do have this is what the discussions are made of and this is what we do. So go ahead and invite yourself to the group. We're excited about this season that's taking place in our life. So I'm excited. And thank you, Tyra. Also, I want to just say it publicly that Tyra, she has a hand in this. She tried to sit on the back burner, Okay, but just want to say that Tyra does have a hand in this, so I'm most definitely grateful for you, Tyra, my friend, my sister, my rider live. She has been a played a huge role in my life through the good, bad, and ugly, happy, sad. Been there through thick and thin. So I'm most certainly grateful for you, Sister Tyra, and that is it. I'm gonna stop before I cry. So I
Alrighty.
love I love y'all. I love you all on the platform, ladies. You are amazing, and just keep doing what you're doing. Keep letting your light shine.
Yes.
So that's it. That's all I have to say. See, I'm getting emotional already, so I gotta go.
Y'all have a good night.
All right. Bye.